Let's talk about hair. Hair and age. Ladies, I'm talking to you. Let's talk about thinning hair, hair loss. Devastating and affects, I think it's 1 in 3 women as they get older. The diameter of the hair follicle, actually decreases with age. Also, as hair, all hair has its own cycle. And when the hair falls out at the end of its life cycle, as we get older, a high percentage of those follicles stay in their resting phase, and they don't get like reactivated into the activation phase, I think they call it. And then you've got the hairs that do actually reactivate, but even they have a shorter life. So the cycle of things, we all have hair has phases. It has its growth phase, then it rests, then it kind of stays constant for a little bit, and then it drops out. But with age, the diameter of the follicles can get less, the life cycle gets altered, and the hair stays in that resting phase longer. And the ones that do actually come back to life, might have a shorter lifespan altogether. Yeah. Anyway, this is the reason that a lot of women by the age of 60, they've cut their hair into a short style, and really cute styles are out there as well. But let's talk about it. So, what causes this hair thinning with age? And I am going to tag a very good friend of mine in this because she has an insane resource for ladies, Women Hair Loss Project. So I'm going to tag you in this. And if there's something that's really affecting your life, please go and follow the tag I'm going to put on this post. Hair has its phases, but as with age. So let's talk about coming up to menopause, so premenopause. So your progesterone's coming down and your estrogen's coming down, but your progesterone is really, really coming down, which actually, the ratio between the two hormones is actually increased. So even though they're both coming down, progesterone falls at a much faster rate. And it's this imbalance of the two hormones which can cause the beginning of hair shedding in women. So you might be dealing with that in your 30s and 40s, and then you get to be post-menopause, when estrogen is getting low, and that drop in estrogen increases the time that hair spends in its resting state. Or if I say it the other way, having more estrogen increases the time that hair spends in its growth phase. That's probably a better way of saying it, right? So we have estrogen, more estrogen, hair stays in its growth phase longer. That's why it gets harder to grow your hair longer. One of the reasons why it gets harder to grow your hair longer with age. Now let's talk about testosterone. So testosterone, even though when we just have a little bit of it, what does happen is women as we get older, we begin to convert more of this testosterone into dihydrotestosterone, DHT. Now, DHT is well known for male pattern baldness, but also hair loss in women as they enter middle age. So you've got this drop in estrogen, and you've got this little bit of testosterone that is being converted into this dihydrotestosterone, which is very well recognized as a trigger for hair loss and hair loss and just generally weaker hair. Now, what is it? 13% of ladies have PCOS, and this is not a subject they're not familiar with. So with PCOS, which is an abundance of androgens, these ladies, and so these ladies are getting it when they're much younger, of course, a lot of them, I think it's something like 50% of them actually suffer from scalp hair loss, and it's because of these increased androgens that they have to deal with. So there's the sex hormones that govern it, but what about other things? What about thyroid? Okay, so you get hypothyroid, too little thyroid, And yes, that can cause hair shedding, and you'll first notice that because your eyebrows, I've already got mine tattooed in, but anyway, I won't even know, huh? No, but it's, your eyebrows will start dropping off. That's one of the first signs. But so hypothyroid can definitely be linked to hair loss, but hyperthyroid, too much of it, can cause hair loss too. So we've got to be careful. We don't want to, you know, think we're deficient in something and just, you know, have an abundance of it thinking we're going to fix it. Which brings me on to ferritin. So ferritin is like the storage site for iron. And when we are iron deficient, or really it's iron deficient, it can cause hair loss. Now, that is a kind of an easy fix, because if that is the reason that you're losing your hair, and I guess it's about 50% of people that are deficient in iron suffer somewhat with their hair. But if that is the reason that you're losing your hair, then it's kind of an easy fix. You just need an iron supplement. However, you've got to be careful, because if you just take an iron supplement on top of a normal iron level, if there's nothing wrong with your iron levels and you just slap a load of iron on top of it, iron can be toxic. So definitely go and get a ferritin screening to see if you are deficient. Very simple test, just like the thyroid, a very simple test. I'm going to do another video on nutrition and hair, but I was just reading about one thing, and I'm going to share this with you, and I actually wrote this down, so hold on. And I'm going to try this. Caffeinated shampoo. They've actually been around for quite a while, I've just never tried them. So the caffeinated shampoos, they relax the smooth muscle fibers surrounding the hair and increase blood flow. Now, these shampoos inhibit the enzyme 5A reductase, which is the enzyme that converts testosterone into DHT. So if it is an androgenic issue you've got going on, and you know that, maybe you've got hair sprouting somewhere else, the caffeinated shampoos inhibit the enzyme that converts testosterone into DHT. So that could be a solution. And like I said, I'm reading this, I don't know this from experience. I know there are, however, there's not just shampoos, there are also leave-in conditioners that you can use. And it's something like, you know, once that touches your scalp, it protects the follicle for 48 hours or something like that. But I've written here, some studies of these caffeinated haircut products show an increase in cross-sectional scalp hairs by 10%. Who knew? Hair loss is no joke. It can be for a variety of reasons. Now, I've just named the estrogen dominance that comes with premenopause and the fall of estrogen, and the androgens that become more of an issue as we get older. And I've mentioned, you know, iron and thyroid. The other big one is stress. Next video, I'm going to talk about nutrition and hair, and just hair generally, not necessarily aging hair. And maybe I'll do one on grey hair as well. Anyway, that is it for now. Hope you like these videos, and I will be back later in the week.